Good evening and welcome to Wednesday night on Bad Dog Comedy TV, live on YouTube and Between Friends, the show where friends talk with their friends about being friends. This week's friends are Public Works, Connor Lowe, Alex Kalenko, and Callum Ratton.
Yay!
Hey.
Hello.
Yeah, we're Public Works collectively, but individually, we're individuals. Yeah, this is Between Friends. I'll do it. I'll host.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, we're gonna be asking each other some questions we've never seen before. I could go take a peek and see what they are, but I'm not going to.
Just a subtle brag that you like. I also tech here. I know how to look.
Just so you know, Connor, I did throw in some fake ones, just in case.
Maybe I will go take a look. Who knows? But for now, I'm going to tell you, you're on YouTube. Congratulations for getting here. You did it. This is Bad Dog Comedy TV. It's our YouTube channel where we're doing live comedy 4 days a week. So you can hit subscribe. You can also go to the link in the description or the link beside Callum or the link rolling across the screen. There, you can go anywhere to get there. It's baddogtheater.com/between-friends and donate there. We are a registered charity, so if you donate anything over $3, you get a tax receipt. And boy, did I need those this year. So, how were all your taxes? I'm not going to ask it.
No.
Never mind. Mine were bad.
Mine were actually, because mine have been terrible. But then during the pandemic, I went from like a job where I would invoice every week to like a regular job, and I was like, oh, this is why people like doing their taxes. Like it was like a full, it was a full 180.
Same as Callum. I didn't need those receipts. I was on fire, getting tons of money back, laughing in the government's face.
Well, you had a thing where some.
Yeah, they charged me. This is the only interesting thing about taxes is they charged me tax twice, and so I was like, man, I'm getting screwed on this job. I'm not getting paid that much. Government's really taking their share. And then like tax season comes, it's like, oh, you got taken tax twice, so you get all of it back. I was like, oh, that is embarrassing that some accountant would do that. But all right.
Yeah, you should get Louise to give them a talking to.
Yeah. My mom does my taxes. I'm not. It feels like a weird thing to admit. It feels like my mom does my taxes. It's like the adult equivalent of like my mom bought me this shirt. Like I don't know.
Yeah, but your mom, your mom isn't a professional shirt buyer.
Yeah. Why are you bringing? Why is Louise the?
Because we have a special guest.
Oh no. That would be entertaining for everyone but me.
Speaking of entertaining for everyone but Alex, should we get to the questions?
Yeah.
How did you meet?
Me and the plan wasn't to make a sketch group for three dudes. That wasn't the plan. The plan
No.
the plan was to make some videos and work with other people, and but I can describe that at the beginning, me and Callum were trying to do, I think, a duo sketch thing. And I don't think I've ever told Callum this, but you'll find this funny. You've ever heard me talk about it, though, of that we were both in Second City Conservatory, but like different classes, but like next to each other, so you had to watch each other's shows. And Callum did a blackout that the audience hated, like out and out hated.
Oh,
And
I think I know.
Yeah.
I think I know the one you're talking about. We don't need to get into it.
Yeah.
It's not offensive or anything,
No.
but it takes a lot of explaining to do.
Yes, it takes a lot of explaining.
And we don't want to derail the show, but yes, I remember that.
And I laughed so hard, I got out of my chair and I was like, and it was you and Andrew, and I was like, oh, I saw Andrew's like, oh, that's really funny, and Andrew's like, oh, it was all Callum. I was like, oh, I guess I gotta be friends with Callum now. Like I guess.
I remember because I met you, Alex, in that same thing because, you were like the term ahead or something, so you'd watch it and stuff. But then also, there's like a lot of time where you're just like hanging out in hallways while other people work on scenes.
Yeah.
and stuff, and other people would like do stuff, and we would just go out and just like and I remember we just started talking, and you were like, "Oh, you should." I remember the exact phrase was like, "You're a weird dude. You should come do the disaster show."
Yeah, that's how I pitch it to anybody.
But that was fun because that was the first show in Toronto. The first show I did in Toronto was Maestro, a Bad Dog, and I did that like every week for a year. And I did like Second City Con shows, but that disaster show was like the first like show that was like a book. I think I did a couple of open mics too, but the disaster show was the first show I did that was like a book show that wasn't a student show in Toronto. I'd done other ones in other cities, but like where the audience wanted to be there. And I think I'd been like for a couple months, I was like, oh, I don't know, did I make a mistake? And then I did that show, and I was like, oh no, there are like fun, there are shows where the audience wants to be there in Toronto.
That is, yeah. If you want to think about getting into comedy, I hope you can't wait to do like a year of shows where no one wants to be there.
And then, I met Connor because I met Connor the night he was leaving Toronto. At that same Maestro show, he did it, and then you were like going to Halifax, and it was like your big send off.
And then I came right back.
You did come back. And then you came right back, and I saw you to like a sold out comedy bar. Just choose to be the worst person, like not like bad at improv, but like attitudes wise, like just like an actively alienating person for a whole show. But like you got everyone on board. And I like didn't really like the show that much, but I remember seeing you in it and being like, "Oh, Connor's cool."
Me and Connor, I can't remember why we were there. We were at some jam show in Bad Dog. I don't think you were doing much improv at the time, and we did a jam show, and it was me, you, and some poor third person.
Yeah, I'm sure like a level 3 student who was like, "I'm gonna come out here," whereas like. That show was not for us.
No, I don't know what we were doing there. I think I was sad and drinking. Like, I think I was genuinely like just sat at the bar and having a drink. And someone's like, "You want to do a jam?" I was like, I'm here. I might as well do it. And then just torpedo that poor show. But I remember we had a lot of fun as like Subway employees trying to. I can't remember the logic of the sketch, but I do remember at a point we were going backstage to put on big coats to prove how rich we were. and
that feels so on brand for us.
And then at the end, I had fun and it was like felt good, and I was like talking to someone on my way out, and like Liz is like pushing you over to me, like tell him, and the two of us stared at each other's feet as you're like, if you ever want to like do something funny with me, I'd be interested in that.
Because we had circled each other before, because I know you and Liz took a class like 10 years ago. Yeah. And I remember clocking it because we were doing like the same student shows, and you were wearing an Every Time I Die shirt, and I was like, oh, like there are people like that in improv?
No, it's just me.
Also, I don't know if I've ever told you this, Connor, but the night after I saw you do that show, a comedy bar like that, and it was like in the main space, lots of people, you did really well. And I was at a party, and like, it was like kind of one of those parties where it's like lots of people who don't have family in Toronto because it was like really close to Christmas. And I was telling someone just how funny you were. And I was like, there's this guy, Connor Lowe, and he did this thing. It was so funny. Because I'd met you because you're friends with my now wife, Jess. And then I realized that you were, I don't know if you had just broken up with that person or if you were in the process of breaking up with that person. Because she was like, yeah, I know. Like it just dating. I felt so bad.
I can't believe that hasn't come up before. That's so funny.
I feel like it has come up, and I've definitely repressed it.
Wait, you didn't do anything. It's.
I feel like this is a perfect time to ask for our next question.
Oh, that the first sketch we created together is the series of Shitty Tasties.
Yeah, which you can check out on our YouTube.
Yeah.
YouTube is youtube.com/publicworkscomedy.
Yes.
And or on Facebook on Shitty Tasty Facebook.com/hitty
hitty tasty, because they would not
tasty.
let us take shitty tasty.
Um,
Fair.
True to our form, what's the first sketch we did? It was a small thing that then turned into a. We planned to make bigger and more complicated than it needed to be.
it's a parody of those tasty videos, but there's like 100 episodes, and they're still the most popular things we've ever done.
Yeah, I think the prank video falls in the middle of some of them. Like there's some shitty tasties that are lower and some that are definitely more popular. But that's also kind of how the group somewhat formed. If that, me and Callum came up with that structure, and we didn't have a good camera, and I was like, we just need like a decent camera to film it. And it's like, Connor has a camera, and Liz said we should work together.
Yeah, and I was like, oh yeah, Connor's cool. Like, and then because also I do remember this weird thing. We had just started doing Shitty Tasty.
Yeah.
And Alex and I had previously done like 2 videos, just the 2 of us and with one other person.
Yeah.
And we were and then we were meeting to finish off like that last video to give like notes on an edit.
Yeah.
And then Liz ran into us, and we were like so clearly working together, like because we were like looking at something on a laptop, and it felt like we were having an affair behind your back. Like I just remember being like, I came home and I was like talking to Jess, and I was like, I just don't. She's going to tell Connor, and Connor's going to think we're like trying to cut him out. Like, what's going to happen?
Which is the running.
Yeah, that's still the like core part of our friendship. Is just we're always mad that, or we're always scared that the other 2 people are angry at us
For no reason. We have nothing to base it on.
No.
The number of times I go to Mollison and I'm just like, oh, I think Callum and Connor are mad at me because of nothing. Like I'm really, really, really looking for something. Should be talking to a therapist about this. And she's like, every week you show
But
up.
I also feel
They're
like
your best friends.
when I'm upset, I just tell you guys. Like I
Yeah,
have an
same.
inability to be.
Same. We're also like, when we are upset with each other, it's just we're not quiet. We're not.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how we formed. That's the first sketch. So I guess, and we filmed
but
like.
what was the first like sketch non-Shitty Tasty? Do you guys remember?
Was it a modern capitalism?
Yeah, maybe. I think it
Was it?
Christmas tree thief?
I feel like it was a different one in Bad Dog, because I remember I bought those like light balls.
Was it popcorn trick?
Was it the Santa Claus one?
No, we shot it in the bar of Bad Dog. I don't think we ever actually released it. Of like it was like 2 people, I think, at a restaurant was supposed to be the thing. So we shot it in one of the booths.
Oh, maybe.
And I hung a light ball over it, and all I remember nothing of the sketch. I just remember how I lit it.
I mean, that is.
This is ringing a bell, but I truly cannot remember it.
It was because we have a few sketches we filmed, and like we've got 2 sketches we've filmed that we are going to release later. But little tease for the audience there. But not at the end of this. Like probably, I don't know, whenever we get around to editing.
Yeah, they've been sitting there.
But we have one sketch that was it was a fake documentary about Connor working for me, and I was a meth dealer. And Connor's job was to go in and buy cough medicine for me,
Sudafed,
and antihistamines. And then because we borrowed Chris Constantino's car, so because none of our cars look like
meth dealer cars,
Yeah.
And then there's another. Alex and I filmed one called, I remember because it's called Your Buddy's Moving Company.
Oh, right.
And it was like a moving company that was like, because I remember, I remember we just moved into the place I live in now, and we couldn't get something lit properly, so we moved every lamp in the house with extension cords just to get one shot, and it still looked terrible.
Yeah.
And then I think I lost the footage. Like, I think that laptop broke.
I think, I remember seeing a version of it and saying like, it's good, the pacing's kind of weird, and you're like, change this, and then it just never released. And I can't remember if you were frustrated with it, but that doesn't sound like you. You're the one who's like, who cares, release it.
No, I'm the one where I'm like, if we did this, it's going out. Like, I think we've had that conversation. No, I forget what happened. I think it genuinely didn't sound good either, which I think is, I will like.
That's something we got better at.
Yes, but I think it was like
all we've done is learn. Like each video isn't how to film anything. Like each video, we get slightly better at learning how to film just people in spaces. But I'm trying to remember what the bar one I do remember filming. Oh, how do you describe each other's performance styles?
Oh, we're getting a prompt. They don't want to hear us talk about sketches that no one can watch.
Yeah.
Alex is yelling from the back of a room.
My favorite thing in the world. I love it. I love it so much. The thing I truly, you know what quarantine has truly taken from me is yelling. I have nowhere to yell. I can't just yell in my apartment. I used to go to punk shows. I used to go to sketch shows, and I'm like, I want to yell today. I just write a sketch where I'm in the back of the room as a madman. Great. Miss it so much. Miss yelling.
And Callum, you're funny information.
Oh, thank you. It is interesting because I perform very differently with you guys than I do with anybody else.
Yeah. Same.
Like,
I wouldn't say we're I think we overlap a bit too much for improv. Like sketch we're better at that we can like write and figure out, and like the fact we're all swimming in the same direction is very helpful. But in improv it becomes a little bit like we overlap too much, that it's a little tougher for us to improvise. And that's when we built that whole improv game of basically laying out what a sketch would be and then doing it.
Yeah, I think also when we film stuff, our performance styles is very different because, like, Alex, you're just always frustrated you can't remember the words.
Yes.
And
I should never be in front of cameras.
And then Connor, you're like super like intense, like about like you're like very like measured and stuff and want everything to be correct. And I think for me, I'm always just trying to see if I can make myself cry. Like it's always, and I'm not gonna lie.
Sometimes you do.
Yeah,
I'm getting closer and closer, but like I'm the only one that'll be like, guys, I need a moment, and then I'll just like sit there and try to get sad, which is a lot of commitment for like not having remembered the script.
that was whatever last sketch we put up. I remember we talked of being like, next stuff we film, we should put people who actually know how to act in them.
Do you remember there's like one, I don't know if it went up, but it's a sketch me and Alex filmed that Christian Smith's in it.
Yeah, that's
and
up
we
there,
had like changed the script the day of, like very unprofessional.
Yes.
And Ify's in it too. They're both so funny, but and he's like, okay, I'm gonna need a few moments, and we watched him like look at the script and stuff. And now having like worked on TV shows and stuff, I'm like, oh yeah, that's what actors do. But at the time, me and Alex both just sat there being like, look at him.
Yeah.
Look what he's doing. It's like he's doing a magic trick.
He's memorizing words.
Like making decisions. We were like so impressed. For a long time, Christian Smith was who I thought he was like Meryl Streep. Like I was like greatest actor ever. I saw him memorize a script and make decisions. It was incredible.
Yeah, but Connor, your performance style is willfully baroque and alienating in a way that I truly enjoy. Like actually, I can't remember what show it was. It was an improv show that me and Callum weren't in, but we were watching, and we're at the back of the room, and you went on a weird jag about vor.
Oh, this was entrances and exits.
Oh, yeah.
So like to the most like theater going audiences for an improv show, I just talked about war.
And it was genuinely very funny and making me and Callum laugh, and everyone else staring straight forward like, when is he done talking?
I did a catch with you, Connor, where you played yourself right after your parents had gotten divorced. And it was, I have never seen, like I have seen it, but you had a thing where it was, again, full comedy bar main stage space, and you managed to get like a drunk audience to like care, and like and go like oh and like really like care and stuff, which is very impressive.
That's hard on a comedy bar audience. It's even harder on a Catch-23 audience. They're so ironically detached on everything.
I feel like I've repressed so many of these shows, and it's telling.
And we're telling you that you did great too, and you're like, no, I can't remember those.
Yeah,
A lot
exactly.
of the ones where I bombed.
Should we check out the next question?
Yeah, let's hit that next
Yeah.
question. Ooh.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
This one's in the bonus tracks of our album.
Which you have to. You got to buy it on Bandcamp.
Yeah, you that you can't get anywhere else except for Bandcamp. I had pretty much nothing to do with this. I might have given like one or two notes, and Alex wrote it. Alex and Callum recorded it while I wasn't available. It's called Dad's Love.
Oh yeah.
And
Really? This is the one?
it's my favorite sketch on the album that I put in like in every running order. I put in prime position
Yeah.
of like it's this is our single, and we sent out feedback forms to like a couple people to listen to our album, and they all didn't like it.
Yeah,
and we
like-
had the option of like you can like it, you can say nothing about it, or you can dislike it, and they all disliked it.
Every single
But it was-
person.
That's
I
so
fought
funny.
so
Thomas.
hard,
I-
even after those feedback forms
I'm also
came back.
really proud of that sketch, and I was shocked at that feedback. Because before we put up the feedback, the only people who had shown was you guys, and Connor was really high on it. I think you were fine with it, Cam. I don't think you were like it was your favorite, but
No, I was actively campaigning to get it off the album.
yes, it has a lot of long. The sketch is a dad knocks on a son's door at 4 a.m. to tell him that he doesn't love him anymore, and then it's just long, awkward pauses as the son tries to understand why or how, and there's no
I think-
answers given.
You also have to remember that as we were doing this, I had just become a dad.
Yeah,
Like, and I don't mean like, oh, my kid was 2. I mean like, my son was like 3 weeks old. And
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
like I'm physically holding him. Wow, that's. What's your favorite sketch, Alex?
I was thinking about that. I think it's prank video, but like with an asterisk that prank video doesn't land. Like the end of like the last because prank video is a long sketch, and like the joke of it is that it starts as one thing, and then you realize that it's going to keep going and keep going deeper.
Alex, where can people see it?
They can see it on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/HowTheWorksComedy. And what I'm really proud of is that I think, like, out of the three of us, I probably have done the most sketch work, like straight up sketch stuff. And that I think you do a lot of it, you start seeing the same patterns, like. And I know, and I find it very interesting of like when a sketch comedy show gets very popular, and people online will be like, or making fun of SNL, being like they just repeat the same joke again and again and again for 5 minutes. I'm like, that's sketch comedy, man. That's like complaining about a movie by being like, the hero went on a journey. How fucking dare he? Like, it's like that's just the structure of it. And like the thing I really like about prank video is like it is a sketch, like it is by every definition a sketch, but I don't think it fits that structure directly, or at least like changes it or has a different structure. And so I'm really, really proud of that. I think when I say it doesn't quite land is that the last chunk, we truly didn't know how to end it. I didn't know how to end it. It was a little more like that video was a little more like my push of like, I want to film this. I want to work really hard. And it was really the biggest thing that I've directed that we've made up until that point for sure.
Yeah.
And
it's
Yeah.
done the best out of all our videos.
I have a single video. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that like there is something there. And I know people have like definitely really shared it and have really connected with it if they can make it through the first minute and a half. That is like a fake out. Yeah, that's probably my favorite. That's probably the one I'm like most proud of. And I think about that. I think about that structure, and I'm like every so often like, what if I do a sketch like this? Then it's like 10 minutes long, but it's like this structure and this idea, and then I'm able to bring myself to actually go through it because it's really hard to make something like that. But I don't know. Yeah, that's mine. Callum?
It's tough. I definitely bring. Yeah, it's interesting because I'm trying to think.
I know. Yeah, because I think if you go through like the roles of how we really write together, is that like Callum is more of like the jokes man and the line person, and like truly the person who keeps it from being 7 pages of sadder and sadder content.
That is, I do find that's like everything I've ever been in. Like any like the Beaverton or something like that. That is tends to be the role of them. Stuff is, I also do a lot more solo stuff than I think either of you guys.
Yeah,
and so
You're less scared to be alone.
well,
Yeah.
here's the thing, I'm trying to think of a sketch, but the ones I remember are like the solo sketches because I do them so much.
yeah.
But I don't want to say a sketch that's just me.
No, that's fine.
But it's like the problem is those are the ones that have burned into my memory.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think of I think my favorite sketch on the album is Gun.
Gun is probably my favorite sketch in the album because every other sketch in the album was workshopped within an inch of its life.
Yes.
And Gun, Connor just recorded and threw it into the running order. And truly, I think I knew the premise going into it, didn't know what was going to be on it, and it made me laugh. And I was like, oh, so it's my favorite. Because it's like, at that point, it's like me watching a sketch group. It's not like, I feel no I feel like I had no hand in it.
I feel like also at that point, like you were saying, we were so tired of every other sketch.
A lot of people really liked Gun because also like at that point it's such a simple 30-second joke that like where it is in the running order is a really nice spot.
My favorite sketch that's ever been part of our shows is the John Denver sketch I do sometimes.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Because
yeah.
but it's the problem is you can never put it up online or record it anyway because it's just me. It's a John Denver song playing and then me talking to John Denver like he's my boyfriend, and that's like the only. And so like I love it. I love that. I think it's the funniest thing I've ever done, but it's just it only lives live.
I also really like as a Callum solo one. This is one that everyone hated, and I've had to explain. Is in the Sketchfest show we did, where you explain having that you want to impress Jess, your wife, but she does comedy, so none of this is impressive to her. So I'm doing just something for just her, and so it's just so you just play a video of Murdoch Mysteries clips of famous celebrities being introduced, and it's so funny to me.
That thing did so well on Twitter.
Yeah.
Like it got, I think it got like thousands of views, but on live, like I would hear people be like, I did not get that.
Yes.
Like I think the literal thing was like I like heard a couple talking when it was like that was funny, and the other one goes, yeah, I didn't get the Murdoch Mysteries thing. Like not mad, very confused, and it didn't.
I loved it. I thought it was so funny, but it is like too conceptual. It's like one step too conceptual.
And then what's crazy is it starts, and then we do a second part 2 later on.
Yeah.
So it's this thing that people already don't get, and then it comes back. But the problem is between the first and the second shows, we had a change up in there, so it's impossible to cut out.
Yeah.
So it was like we're like handcuffed to this thing that just didn't work.
Yeah, that is the problem. Both the benefit and the problem of when we do live shows, we're all pretty vehemently opposed to like lights down, music plays, lights up, new sketch. Like, I feel like it really like ruins energy. So we have videos and we have like transitions, and like it never really stops, and you can kind of control the flow of energy. I think it really helpful. It makes the show more fun for me to do and figure out. But it does mean that if there's something that's not working, it's such a hassle to pull it out because it's such this choreographed dance that we're just like, we're sticking with it. This is your problem now. Like,
Alex, you know what that reminds me of?
yeah.
A rail system. Because when you have stuff, at a certain point, unless you've got like right of ways or like a different like offside thing, then if one system's not working, then that's bottlenecking the whole capacity. It's what really holds up freight trains in like lots of parts of this country and throughout North America.
For anyone confused,
We just talked about trains, and that's that.
yeah. This is probably the longest that the three of us have talked about our own sketch comedy with each other.
This is the this is the longest I've ever thought about I like think about comedy, but it's like what's like more comedy I can do? What's another like joke or sketch? The actual like conceptual things of it, I don't think about.
Yeah, not really. Like, yeah, same. Like, my point, you don't really think about what you've done, you know?
Yeah.
What's the use of
like,
it?
the album came out, and then we just stopped talking about the album among ourselves. It was like...
It was
Except
the best thing that happened.
we are going to do a cassette run of the album.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, guys, comment below. Comment below with your address, and I will send you a cassette.
Yeah. But publicly post your address.
Yeah. If someone publicly posts their address and it's within Canada, I will send you a cassette for free. But you have to leave it up because they're going to be done for a couple of months. So they've got to be in these comments for a couple of months.
Look, you're taking food out of his son's mouth.
Yeah.
So you better commit to this.
Yeah. His son is one cassette poorer now. If you.
Oh.
We ate a bunch of them.
Yeah, there's a lot of food we ate at Shitty Tasty. We'd also just make food while we were filming them.
I made poutine for one.
Yeah.
And it was just straight up poutine I made, but then like I think it was like sexual or like boner inducing poutine. And then it was just like all the ingredients that popped up were like, had graphic descriptions, but it was just poutine I made.
I fully made bagels.
Oh,
like
they
from
were
scratch for
They were
one.
good bagels.
They were so good. Connor always made the best food.
Yeah, Connor showed off, and then Callum tried to get his done as fast as possible. Like all of Callum's recipes were like, what if I just chopped salad and then I did most of the jokes with text?
That was only for the last one.
The last round we were truly not interested in doing it anymore.
But that's when and then Alex's were always the grossest.
Gross. Yeah, I swung for gross fences.
There was one I had to leave while you were doing.
The fish.
The fish. Yeah, I'm sorry about the fish.
And then remember when we put Alfredo sauce into an ice cream maker?
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, yeah, it was a good time. I can't believe it didn't. I can't believe it didn't ice cream. Like we really thought it was going to like ice cream up. It just kind of like slushed. It kind of turned into like a slushy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember Callum was really pushing for with hot dog salad. You're like, this is just a recipe I'd make. Like I remember like you filming it.
I ate it. It was good.
But it was just like hot dogs and like lettuce, though, right?
No lettuce. I think it was just like
it was the pieces of a hot dog cut
and
up
then like buns and
Yeah.
sauerkraut and mustard. So like all tasty stuff.
I also ate. There's one where it's like the grilled cheese cube.
Oh yeah,
That was good.
It was just like this cheesy bread monstrosity that like I tried so hard to like earnestly make a grilled cheese cube and I couldn't make it work.
You got pretty close.
I got pretty close. It you know what it was is I could make it stand up as a cube when it was uncooked, but then as it cooked, the toothpicks that we're using to make it cube shaped couldn't hold the weight and fell apart. It just kind of collapsed. But then we just had this like really cheesy grilled cheese sandwich that like you would eat and then every so often get a bite of toothpick. So overall, it's pretty good. Yeah, that's my real answer. Oh, and then my favorite one was the puke one where we filmed in my backyard and you see me actually puke. And my partner at the time was so like, she was like, not really mad, but she was like, this is like the logical conclusion of it. Like, you're done now, right? Like, she was just kind of like exhausted by me doing this.
You know as well. So there's one that's a soft kiss from Callum.
Oh, yeah.
And it was the first one that I was in. And I had multiple family members who did not realize I was behind that.
Yeah.
They just followed that account because someone else had shared it and they thought it was a funny account. And then I just pop up.
I kept on getting messages from people who had told me they would watch because at the time there was tasty videos everywhere. Like the most boring person from your hometown would share it weekly, and there were people messaging me like, now I just watch full tasty videos because I think they're your videos and I'm waiting for a twist.
Should we Wait, was that the last question? That was 5, right?
Hey, Public Works.
Hello.
It's me, the god of friendship. I'm a P. How you doing?
Makes sense. Yeah.
Great. They've really upped the production value since I stopped teching this show.
You like that? You like that dream sound effect there?
Yeah.
It's pretty good, I think. Well, what's happening now is that we're going to go into the lightning round, which is very exciting. Basically, what's going to happen here in the lightning round is there's going to be a series of questions that are going to pop up. And instead of necessarily answering, though you can answer verbally as well, you're going to point to the member of Public Works that you think is the likely candidate for the question that's being posed. So you might want to practice that at StreamYard, so it's inverted. Oh, see, there you go. This is why we do this. Great. This is, yes, thank you,
I'm dyslexic.
Avery Jean Brennan.
This is so hard.
And bear in mind, the god of friendship won't be here, so there you go.
Okay.
It's going to look like this. So are you ready for the lightning round? Oh, and if you could, one of you could read out each question as they appear. That would be a lovely. Are you brave and ready?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Who's most likely to be late? Oh, that's
It's all of us.
No, it's Connor. It's we're
It's
late,
all of us.
but we're late. But Connor's the most.
I'm the most late. Yeah.
The most correct answer is Connor. We'll really cry at a movie. All of us?
I mean, yeah, we all will cry in a movie, but
I think something we all have in common is
Yeah.
tears.
All of us, for sure.
Palmer in the back there.
Oh, yeah. Palmer.
Palmer in the back.
I think Callum's the best boy.
Oh yeah, Cal's the best boy. Who's most likely to forget their lines?
That's a tough one.
Maybe, I don't know.
It's
I must admit, I will change a line.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're pretty loose with our lines.
Yeah.
But I'll straight up jump a section by accident.
Yes. And it will make me incredibly anxious.
Yes.
Also would love. Oh. Oh, I can't.
I think it's Connor. Yeah.
Unanimous on this one.
Yeah. Liz?
Liz.
I would write in a reality show.
Oh, I would write a reality show. That was so fun.
Either me or Alex.
I think Callum can lie with the best of them. I think it's me or Callum. I think Connor, we see through your lies all the time.
Yeah. You
You
also
think
don't
you're
know.
the best. It's most likely to break a world record.
Oh, Callum for sure.
Yeah, Callum's gonna break
What?
some world record we don't even know exists. Like,
Oh yeah, but he's gonna like quietly do it of like, oh yeah, like I've been researching this, and then boom, he's
Yeah.
like been underwater for 10 days.
Judo rolls?
Juros, I think it's gonna be me.
Yeah,
But
because
if
you've got the best reach.
I also used to fight judo until I got kicked out. But then if it's not judo rules, I do think Callum's got it.
Yeah,
If it's not
I
judo,
think I could hold my own.
who's the messiest?
Who's the messiest? I think normally this question is like emotionally,
Oh,
but
Oh.
still me then.
No, I think we're all pretty emotional.
Most dramatic.
We're all pretty dramatic.
We're all pretty. This isn't us trying to figure out who's the most dramatic. This is us trying to figure out. Okay, we're all pretty. Like, it's not like who's dramatic. It's who's the most. Is the. I'm gonna go me.
I'm gonna go me.
I don't know. That's tough.
That's pretty dramatic of you.
Nah, actually, I switched it to Callum. And it's dramatic non-choice.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah.
We did it. Yeah, thanks so much for watching, everyone. You can watch more of us at youtube.com/publicworkscomedy. You can also listen and buy our album at publicworkscomedy.bandcamp.com. You can stream it everywhere else, but Bandcamp is the best place for us for you to do it.
Yeah.
It'd be really nice of you to do it.
If you buy, you get to hear Connor's favorite sketch we've ever done.
Yeah.
Yeah, call up Sirius
Yeah, call
and
up.
request it.
Yeah, that's
actually
that's
yeah,
the best way you can do it. Is my God, call up Sirius and request it. One phone call for you. Callum's child eats.
To be clear, like Callum is feeding his child.
Yeah. Sorry. This
Yeah.
sounds like.
But hey, you know
I felt
what?
bad as soon as I said it. Truthfully.
Do you want my child to grow up like lower middle class? Then call up Sirius.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's not gonna work.
Yeah. Do you guys have anything individually to plug?
Follow me on Twitter, like Callum Ratton.
Listen to my many podcasts to hear hot takes on punk music and Bummer Boys, and hot takes on movies. And I'm watching a movie. I think we're all we're in a Bummer Boys episode, the three of us, and I think we're all going to do an upcoming episode at some point.
Yeah, we are.
And Callum's in 2 episodes, and Connor is off screen in the Liz episode.
That's when I cut off part of my finger. And she watched Armageddon and talked about it for an additional 10 minutes before coming to the hospital. Anyway. This is the other thing that I do. It's Bad Dog Comedy TV. I tech here, and I host Theater Sports, which is Thursday nights at 9. You can watch me be even less confident in front of a camera than this. And
Connor, what if everyone calls Sirius? I get a bunch of money, but I'm like, I don't want to pay tax on all that money. Is there a way I can not pay tax?
Yeah, you can donate that money to baddogtheater.com/between-friends. You get a tax receipt, and that's how taxes work. And that's why I pay someone to do my taxes for me. And
we get a little taste of those donations.
Yeah. My understanding is that we get a little taste of those donations. And if we don't...
They go to our corporation on the Cayman Islands.
Oh, yeah. Public Works LLC.
I was thinking more like mafia style, like just a bag of money.
Oh, yeah.
Polly Walnut shows up and gives me a bag of one.
I read something recently, which was not an article, not anything, with of any sort of repute. Just someone on the internet suggesting that like a whole bunch of apps are money laundering. Of like, there's no way people are paying money for these. This has to be money laundering. And you could do it that way.
The overhead on an app is so low, and it is kind of like money laundering. Like venture capital is money laundering. Like, what do you like? Of course, it's like the banks are just money laundering. Like, what is your? Of course, they're money laundering. It's all. I
can't believe it took us this long to get here.
I think anytime I see a restaurant that survived COVID, there's always part of me that's like, oh, that's a front.
But I will say that some of the best Italian food I ever had in my life was a front. Like, in a way that like my dad rolled up me and him to go get some nice sandwiches, and then there was like police tape, and the cops like pushed us away, and then it was in the news, and we were both so disappointed. I'm like, I don't care what the mob is doing. It was really good fucking sandwich.
I feel like but Bad Dog definitely not a front.
Yeah, Bad Dog much too soft to be a front. Could you imagine? What would they be fronting?
Can you imagine if I came near illegal activity? How red I'd immediately get?
One time, me and Callum talked about stealing from self-checkouts, and Connor Lowe sweat out like a gallon. Like, Connor could not take it. Like, as me and Callum are just like, oh, this is how you steal from massive corporations to make sure you can eat when you have no money. And Connor's like, what if we just paid the money?
Yeah, I feel like we also drove once in a car that like didn't have a tail light, and you were very nervous the whole time.
Yeah,
it's like it's definitely not a front. Except, what if Public Works is? Would Bandcamp be a good way to launder money?
Yes. I mean, it goes through my PayPal. It goes through my PayPal, so now I realize it wouldn't be.
Alex ends up in prison.
Yeah. For Callum's activities. You talked about that drug dealer sketch that we didn't release because you were going for your permanent residency and you were a drug dealer in the sketch, but that was based on me in high school doing that, of like a guy I met was like, go to statute of limitations. It's been years ago. I'll admit to this in public. A guy I met was like, go to Shoppers Drug Marts and buy Sudafed and I'll pay you. And I was like, yeah. And I was just a dumb teen, and he was paying a bunch of teens to do it. Didn't even put together was bad.
You were too dumb to realize anything was nefarious.
I'm like, oh.
Guess he's a busy businessman who doesn't have time to go shopping himself.
I really like that we blew past the outro for you to just admit crimes you did as a teen.
Come at me, Crown. Come at me.